This has been a long time coming.
I love the way he jumps.
I think I'm going down the wrong path here.
I love a 3-mile handicap hurdle. My one to follow for next year that I'm actually going to be with. That's
Jack with the leader in the market and myself with the outsider. Hello and welcome to the Next Gen Racing YouTube channel for our weekend preview. And this has been a long time coming. We're back with the National Hunt. We've got Cheltenham this week and it returns on Friday and a nice card on Saturday as well. But we also do get to touch upon the flat stuff as well with the Group 1 Vertem Futurity at Doncaster on Saturday. Jack, you're actually going to be at Cheltenham on Friday. I bet you're looking forward to getting back to the HQ of the jumps game.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's been a long time coming, hasn't it? I think 18 months since last year's festival, since people have actually been at the grand old girl Cheltenham. So it'll be great to be back on course. Hopefully, see a few familiar faces and a few familiar faces horse-wise. So yeah, great to be back.
Yeah, it really is. I'm looking forward to watching it on the telly after I finish work tomorrow. But let's start with the Friday. We would have previewed the Ballymore Novice Hurdle, which is the opening race on the card. There's not really much point in discussing that. You've got Compron in here with the Persian War winner, who's a 2-7 favourite here. Really not worth previewing. So we're going to go straight on something slightly more competitive, and that's the 2:30, which is a Class 2 novice chase over 2 miles. Third time lucky is your 2-1 favourite here. For Dario Vallis, it's 9-4. Any News, 11-4. Buddy Rich for Gordon Elliott is 11-2. And then Sir Tivo is your 33-1 outsider. Jack, 5 runners to kick things off. Third time lucky was 6th in the county at the festival. Do we make him the one to beat here?
Probably not. I mean, I'd be happy to take him on at 2-1 if I'm being honest. I mean, he's probably going to have no problem switching codes. Switching to the larger obstacles, to fences. But I think at 2-1, he's just a tad short. If I'm being honest, he has a lot of ability. He didn't quite live up to the potential I thought last year. So I kind of expect a little bit more from him. Fidelio Vallis is as consistent as they come. I mean, 4 from 6 over fences. But I mean, again, at 9-4, it wouldn't be surprising to see Paul Nicholls go in there. I think he's a great summer horse, so it'll probably get his ground. But Any News is probably where I'm going to land. If I'm being honest, there's finished second last year at Cheltenham, and that form worked out really well. I think it was behind Make Me a Believer, who was third in a Grade 2, Warwick behind Adramel on heavy ground. So I think that's quite good form. He's very unexposed, and hopefully, I mean, he'll be able to go closer around 11-4.
Okay, Any News for Jack? I'm actually going to be with the Gordon Elliott runner. It's the only Gordon Elliott horse I actually fancy this week, and that will be Buddy Rich at 11-2. Now, with regards to Buddy Rich, I mean, has had, I think, 3 runs in the last month or so. And a lot of 2s to this horse's name, a bit like Dragon Symbol. So I think I'm going down the wrong path here. But yeah, with regards to the horse that have actually beat this horse, we look at Dancing on My Own. That horse we hadn't seen since a fairly decent novice campaign back in 2019. And then the last run was up against Cape Gentleman in a race where Ballyadam fell. I actually thought that was going to be a really decent race to follow because I thought Ballyadam was going to be quite nice over fences. But Cape Gentleman does look quite smart. I think they're going to have a lot of fun with Cape Gentleman over fences this season. And I just think potentially this horse is going to get his chance, Buddy Rich. I think he's had some decent horse finishing in front of him. I don't think it is the strongest field we're ever going to see. Well, I don't think we've got an Arkle winner here, no chance at all. And I think that Buddy Rich could potentially take this and get a 1 to his name. So Any News for Jack and Buddy Rich for the Gordon Elliott team, for myself in that novice chase at Cheltenham on the Friday. Let's move on to the 3:05 now. It's a Class 2 novice hurdle. This one's over 3 miles. Bardenstown Lad is 4-1. Honor Gathering Storm is also 4-1. Dragon Bones is 9-2. Grace Avuenki is 6-1. Cyril Delac is 13-2. Drumley Water 10-1. And Almanzar Guard is 12-1 in here. I actually like the outside of all 8 in here, Jack, and that's Almanzar Guard at around 12-1. Over fences, he's looked very well. 7th in the Kim Muir this year. It's fascinating to see this horse going back over hurdles. I don't think we've seen this horse over hurdles since the back end of 2019. I just think that potentially this horse, look, we know this horse stays 3 miles. With some of these, there are a few question marks. I'm sure the trainers will know if their horse is going to stay 3 miles. They put them in there for this reason. I think there are quite a few in here that have potential improvement to them. But I think 12-1 here is potential value. You've got a dead 8 field here, so you're going to get the 3 places as long as nothing gets withdrawn. And I'm going to take a chance with a yard that seems to be in form. So it's Almanzar Guard for myself. What about yourself?
It's quite a scratchy race, isn't it?
It
I
is.
mean, looking at it, you got Cyril Delac, of course, who's coming back over hurdles, which is quite intriguing after a lot of time off. I think last seen in November. But I think Barterstown Lad's an okay, a fair enough price at 72. Of course, John McConnell won the race last year. He stays like there's no tomorrow, and I think he's just very consistent. He's going to get the ground, and I think 3 miles is perfect for him. I like the way he jumps as well. So for me, I think 72 is not a bad price. I know he was third last time out, but he probably needed to freshen up there. So after that run at Navan last time out, I think he's the one to be around 72.
There we go. Okay, Jack with the leader in the market and myself with the outsider in the
I'll
market in
take
that
some
race
turn,
there.
mate.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it turns for the national anthem season. I seem to want to find a bigger price at the moment. But let's go on to a race where potentially I might like one of the short price favourites. We're going on to the Saturday now. This is the 255, which is a Class 2. It's the Matterson Holding Hurdle over 2 miles. Now, Tritonic is your 10 to 11 favourite here. Stepney Causeway 5 to 2. I like to move it is 100 to 30 and 2 shots of tequila 66 to 1. If you had asked me 2 shots of tequila last weekend, I probably would have said yes, but it's definitely not going to be that this weekend. Jack, Tritonic is definitely a horse that, look, he was lethal at Kempton in the Adonis prior to going to Cheltenham, went to Cheltenham to then finished 5th in the Triumph. Do we make him the one to beat here? Because we've got a horse in Stepney Causeway who's been winning races easily. This is a bit of a step up for Stepney Causeway, but could we see the Skeltons bagging one here?
Potentially, Tritonic is a bit too short for me to back. Of course, he's quite a classy flat horse as well, and he clearly probably has the ability edge here. But I think at 4 to 5, 4 to 6, I know he's been backed off the boards, but he is opposable for me, and I think Stepney Causeway is the way to go. I love the way he jumps. I know he's probably had a little problem because it's his first run after a wind up, as we've seen the Skeltons with quite a few of their horses, of course, third time lucky as well. So it'd be interesting to see how he goes. But I mean, he comes here in pursuit of a 5th successive win, and after a break, hopefully he'll be able to turn over the Alan King hot pot.
Okay, yeah, Stepney Causeway for yourself. I'm actually going to take on the favourite as well, and that's with the Sam Twist and Davies ridden horse, and that's I like to move it. Now, this horse here, he was 9th in the champion bumper. That was behind the likes of Sir Gerhard Kilcrut, LA Bell, a horse that I actually fancy for the Mayor's Novice. I think that potentially that champion bumper could work out to look quite nice. I mean, the horse has had a run this season over hurdles at Worcester. Did that fairly nicely. He was always going away at the line, and I potentially think that a strong gallop is going to be interesting to see how they go off here. We've only got a 4-runner field, so we don't know what the pace could potentially be like in here. But look, if they do go off a strong gallop, I think it's going to suit this horse heading up the hill. And I think the Sam Twist and Davies could be in for a good day on the Saturday, personally. So Jack and I are both against Tritonic in here, which is a bold thing to say, because Tritonic did look fairly decent last season. It'll be interesting to see how he's trained on. But Jack with Stepney Causeway for the Skelton team, and I will be with I Like to Move It, ridden by Sam Twist and Davies in the Matterson Holding Hurdle. Let's go on to the big handicap, probably of the weekend from Cheltenham. It's the 3:30. It's the 888 Sports Handicap Chase over 2 miles. Sky Pirate is your 11 to 4 favourite. Before Midnight is 100 to 30. Leap Away is 11 to 2. Belgaris is 6 to 1. Bafiva is 8 to 1, a Shooter 10 to 1, Hatcher is 12 to 1, Voix de Rev is 14 to 1, and Solar Impulse is 22 to 1. Jack, it's a nice competitive race. This is probably, in terms of races I like to view, this is probably one of the ones I'm most looking forward to this weekend. Who is your fancy in here? Have we got a nice big price or a double figure price from yourself?
A reasonable price. It's going to be a Shooter. I'm a big fan of him. I watched him from outside of Fontwell back in August 2020 when he won there. It was soft conditions, so I think he may probably want a little bit more juice in the ground. But he's off his last winning mark, and I think I love the way he jumps, and he's fresh as well. So yes, he didn't end the season too well last year, but hopefully he'll be able to bounce back. And I think of them all in the race, I think he's the most well handicapped.
Okay, there we go. I'm actually going to be with where I said Sam Twist and Davies could be in for a good day. I'm actually going to back this as a double, but I quite like Before Midnight here at 100 to 30. Now, this horse around this time of the year has ran some really decent, consistent races throughout the seasons gone by, and I think this could be an excellent opportunity here. Another strong jumper. One that likes to be held up, and I think Sam Twist and Davies is an expert at doing this, at holding horses up. I think he's going to hold this horse up throughout the race and come with a late run. I just potentially think that I think Sky Pirate is fascinating in here. Do not get me wrong, I find Sky Pirate a really interesting horse. I do think that it is, like you say, very, very competitive in here. But before midnight for me, I think just with the form around this time of the year, the way this horse jumps, I'm a big fan of Sam Smith Days. I think he's set for a big day. I'm going to be with that horse here. So shooter for Jack at around 10 to 1 and before midnight at 100 to 30 for myself. The 405 now, which is the last race we'll preview from Cheltenham, which is the Vertem Network Handicap Hurdle. It's a Class 2 over 3 miles. Tullybeg for the Gordon Elliott team, ridden by Jordan Gainsford, is your 4 to 1 favourite. Haulaway is 7 to 1. Panic Attack 15 to 2. Shannon Bridge 8 to 1. Born Patriot is 8 to 1. Geordie Deschamps pushed the tempo, and Butler's Brief. They're all around 10, 12 to 1. It's 14 to 1 and bigger the rest. Jack, Jordan Gainsford, a big fan of this jockey. I think he's going to be a real talent, and the next one to really come through at Gordon Elliott's yard. He looks tough to take on him, which what looks potentially a really fascinating race towards the start of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I love a 3 mile handicap hurdle, especially a race like this. But I mean, you're kind of playing with fire, I think, this early in the season. I get that. I get Tullybeg. I mean, of course, the money's come for it. Jordan Gayford stealing a £3 claim. I'll never understand why he's still got a claim. I mean, that will go very quickly, of course. But I mean, he comes here on the hunt for a hat trick. So I think he is definitely the one to be. He's got conditions to suit. He's got £3 being taken off in the saddle. Yes, he's £10 higher than his Irish mark before his last win, but I still think a mark of 140 isn't insurmountable. So I'd probably just prefer him over Haulaway, the Nicky Henderson entry.
Okay, I'm going to be with a horse that seems to absolutely love Cheltenham, and I think the owners love Cheltenham as well. And I think he's a great each way angle in here, and that's To Be Fair. The horse isn't getting any younger. I know a lot of people love this horse. It'd be great to see this horse run well. The horse was actually second in the Pertemps back in 2019. That was off a mark of 136. Let's not forget, actually, back in January 2020, this horse ran a stormer in the Cleve Hurdle behind the likes of Paisley Park. This horse does stay well. I don't think the ground is going to be any issue for this horse at the weekend. I think he actually won this race 2 years ago as well. I just think now he's just sliding down the weights. He's now for a weight of 135. So his mark's 135. I think this is a perfect opportunity. I think if he's going to have a big day at Cheltenham again, I think this could be his chance. I think 16, 18 to 1, a definite each way playing here. And I think my sort of heart's going to be with this horse. I'm a big fan of To Be Fair and also the owners. So, yeah, To Be Fair is going to be my selection in the race here. And Jack, what was your selection?
I'm going to be with Tullybeg. It's a boring one, but I think Gordon Elliott comes over for a reason.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree more. He does have horses ready. They're not just here for the trip. Let's go on to the final race we're going to preview and the stuff that we've been talking about for most of the summer, and it is the flat. It's the 3:15 at Doncaster. It's the Group 1 Vertem Futurity Trophy. It's over a mile. Luxembourg is now your odds-on favourite. He's 11 to 10 on. Royal Patronage is 7 to 2. Bayside Boy is 11 to 2. Imperial Fighters 8. Sissoko is 9. Then we go 33 to 1. And bigger the rest. Aidan's horses, with regards to the 2-year-old side of things, that they do get backed on reputation. Aidan's got a great record with 2-year-olds in Group 1s. And it's fascinating, this race, because over the last few years, I mean, I think the last 5 years, it's thrown up 3 2,000 Guineas winner and 1 Irish Guineas winner. And whatever Aidan sends this, you've got to take seriously. Now, would I be backing this horse at 10 to 11? Absolutely not. I think if you're someone who thinks this horse is going to romp up in here, if you do think that, I wouldn't be taking any of this 10 to 11. I'd actually probably rather take the 10 to 1 or 12 to 1 you can get for the 2,000 Guineas, because if this horse does win this, Aidan does tend to like to send them to the 2,000 Guineas the following year. And I actually think this is, if this horse does go and win this, I do actually think this horse next year could potentially be a Triple Crown contender. I'm not saying a Triple Crown winner, but a contender for it. I do think the horse will get the mile and is quick enough over the mile. And I think we've seen that proven, but I see this horse does stay. We know that. And I think potentially even a Ledger in the future could suit this horse. I'm not guaranteeing this, but I do think potentially if Aidan's got one to do it, this could potentially be it out of all the ones we've seen so far this season. Does depend on the pace as well. I mean, a strong pace is going to suit Luxembourg, Jack, but same with Royal Patronage, who we saw against Caribus, which was an intriguing and exciting race to watch. What do we make of this? Are we with the sort of, I think there's sort of 5 or 6 at the top of the market, where then we have a massive gap, 33 to 1. I'm guessing it all revolves around this lot.
If I'm being honest, you've probably managed to pick out the one which, without going, the one which I'm going for. Luxembourg, as you said, the points you mentioned, he's clearly the one to beat. I mean, he arrives unbeaten. He's definitely going to be a big derby contender, I think, next year, if he trains on. That is, of course, some of these Bally Door contenders don't really like training on. Royal Patronage, yes, but again, I think he was a little bit flattered. Yes, that form of Caribas does look very good in the Royal Lodge, but then again, I mean, it was just a freak. It was a freak incident, really, the whole race. So I don't know if you can take it really at face value of what it was. Bayside Boy ran a great race in the Dewhurst to finish third there, but it's going to be my one to follow for next year that I'm actually going to be with, and that's Sissoko for Donegal O'Brien. Now, of course, last Thursday won a maiden very comfortably at the Curragh. I think the conditions are going to be okay. Hopefully, the ground can dry out a little bit for him, but I think he's about 9-1 now. He's shortened from about 14, 16-1. So hopefully, I think he's definitely one to watch for next season. Will he be able to grab Group 1 honours here? I'm not too sure, but I think he may be able to sneak a place.
Yeah, fascinating to see him running here, Sissoko. And Jack gave the horse a big mention actually on the flat season review, our last video that we just uploaded as one to follow going into 2022. But I agree with Jack, they're probably going to need the ground to dry up just slightly to give this horse a better chance. But it is a really fascinating race, especially on the soft going that we've currently got. Really will be intriguing, but it's going to be a no-bet race for myself with Luxembourg. I do think he's going to go and win it, but I will not be taking that 11-10 on. But Jack with Sissoko, potentially a nice each-way price. Hopefully the ground dries out and that horse could run a huge race. That's it for this week's weekend preview. There's not actually any flat that we're probably going to be previewing now in the UK. We've obviously got the Breeders' Cup coming up in a couple of weeks, but with regards to the UK flat turf racing, that's going to be it. I'm sure you're not going to be seeing us tipping up horses on the all-weather until the all-weather finals day next April. But look, it's been great previewing all the flat action. We are looking forward to jump season. We're looking forward to seeing Cheltenham and hopefully bringing you guys some excellent content and some winners. We're actually going to be back on Tuesday with our first anti-post video for the Cheltenham Festival. Now, we're not going to be doing this on a weekly basis. This is going to come on a monthly basis from myself and Jack. So every 4 or 5 weeks, you'll get a video where Jack and I will put up 2 or 3 selections for the festival in March. And hopefully we can build up a little bit of a portfolio and have some decent prices come the festival. But yeah, thanks for all the support. Enjoy the racing at Cheltenham and Doncaster this weekend. And we will see you on Tuesday for our Cheltenham anti-post video. Thanks for watching.